Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Callum here. In today's video, we're going to be showing you the best optimal binds for beginners when starting off on keyboard and mouse. So yeah, let's get right into it. So the first thing you have to take into consideration is, do you want to use your mouse for your keybinds, or do you want to use your keyboard for your keybinds? If you want to use your keyboard, look at players like Clicks. He uses FX and Q, I think, which is, there's nothing on his mouse for that, which is, not many players do it. But if you want to free up your mouse, have more controlled movements with your mouse, you can really do that. But on the other note, if you want to use your mouse for your keybinds, you can do full WASD movement without like needing to lift any of your fingers off only when you're editing or using your cones or something like that. But for me, it's a different story. So yeah, that's the first tip I'll give you. Either pick between, you're going to use your keyboard for your keybinds, or you're going to use your mouse for your keybinds. So yeah, let's get into the next tip. So for the next tip, I'm going to be recommending some keybinds for you if you're starting off. But if you haven't started, if you're already starting off and you're already pretty good on keyboard and mouse, I recommend you trying these out as well if you really want. But these are mainly for the people who are just getting started off. So for your wall, you want to use thumb mouse button 4 or 5, which is the two ones on the side, or you want to use middle mouse button if you're using your mouse, which I wouldn't really recommend, but I'd use ramp for mouse button 4 and then stair for mouse button 5. And for your floor, I would recommend using something on your keyboard instead of middle mouse button, because that can really mess you up. I used to use it, like Vidil uses that guy, but I used to use it and I just didn't enjoy it, and now I really enjoy C. I don't know why. It's just really good for me because it's right beside X and I can just press them both really consistently and not mess up. So for your cone, you want to use, if you're using your keyboard for your building, you want to use something on your mouse, and if you're using your mouse, you want to use something on your keyboard, if you get what I'm saying. So for mine, I use Q. You guys can use V, you can use G, you can use F. You can really use anything on your keyboard that's close to your hands and that your hands can reach. Because if you do something like H, I mean, you can reach it, but I don't know how you're going to remember that. And your hands are going to feel a lot of strain. That's another tip. Use keybinds that don't strain out your hands as well. Use keybinds that are really comfortable for you, because it's all personal preference. I'd highly recommend not to copying YouTubers' keybinds, as like they're used to them. They're just what they use. Like especially like people like Bugga. I definitely not recommend using his. He's just really used to them. Like, they're not optimal. His keybinds are really not optimal. Like, they're in a line, but they're just not optimal. So I wouldn't really recommend copying streamers or YouTubers or Fortnite players keybinds, as it's like, it's hard to explain. It's like you have to get used to something that you're good with. Like, it's personal preference, to be honest. It's like anything. And another keybind I'd use is for editing. So for my edits I use E, but I feel like F is a better one to press. I don't know why, but they're the two I'd recommend. G is actually pretty good. I know a few people who use G, and they say there's no problem. If you have pretty big hands, I'd recommend using G. That's what I'd recommend if you're using G. So I'd either recommend E or F if you have small hands, and if you have big hands, I'd recommend you use G or T or like V. I don't know about V, but mainly G, because that's pretty optimal. Yeah. So for the next tip, I'm gonna be showing you my keybinds. So yeah, let me go right into my keybinds, and I'll be back to you in a minute. So for my keybinds, I use WASD. Double movement's on. I don't think it's in the game anymore. I don't really think you can use it. So I used to use T. Auto run is equals. For crouch, crouch. I know it says O, but I have a Logitech G502, which is basic G402, and I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I have like 5 side buttons, so I use one of my side buttons to crouch, which is O. But for your crouch button, I recommend using like something like or left or control, actually control, because you don't have to lift your hands off anything. Like you can have full WASD movement while crouching. So yeah, I'd recommend control or shift or something with your pinky. Same here. I use F, and I'm gonna change that, but I wouldn't recommend. Oh wait, no. Reload, I use G, and that's because I used to use R for crouch. I just haven't came around to change it. I don't even know if I use R for anything anymore. But anyway, for use, I use F and mouse wheel down. I'm gonna actually change that to mouse wheel down permanently when I get used to it, and I change F to like one of these. I don't know, and then. Reference 2 1, I'm just used to that. Website 1, 2, I'm just used to that. I don't know why it says wheel up here. When did I do that? I don't know. Well, I might need to change it. I need to change that. Website 2, I use 3. Website 3, I use 4. Website 4, I use 5. And then left control for Website 5. And now, if you're using left control for crouch, I'd recommend using or T or just 6. Like, it's not really that hard to press. It's not really that important. My wall, I use thumb mouse button 5, which is thumb mouse button 2. Wait, what? It always used to say 5. I don't know, I changed it, but it's like the top one. It's not like the closest to your hands, like the top one. I just find comfortable with that. C for floor, it's really comfortable for me. X for stairs. Now I wouldn't really recommend using X for stairs. I recommend using one of your mouse side buttons, but I'm just used to it now, and yeah, it's good for me. Roof, I use Q. I'd highly recommend using Q if you're new to keyboard and mouse. For trap, I use V. I don't even know why I use that. Sometimes I forget where it is, but hey, it works for me. Rotate or change build material, right? Yeah, whatever. Build and edit E. I use confirm edit on release, so I don't use double things. But I need to change that to. I need to change that to down, so it has reset and this. I keep forgetting to change that, actually. I don't know why O is here. Let me change that. Reset building, mouse wheel down. I'd highly recommend putting this on. It's super OP for keyboard and mouse players. Makes you reset in seconds. I'm actually going to show you it right now. Let me show you this real quick. So say you have a wall, yeah, someone's on the other wall, make a quick edit and it just resets straight away. See, wait, what? Like, that's just weird. Like, it resets straight away. See how quick it is? So yeah, I'd highly recommend using scroll reset. Nothing else here, but I'll go into a settings video next video, probably. Have all this. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more tips and tricks, smash the like button, turn on some post notifications, subscribe to the channel, and it's been Callum and I'm out. Peace.